focusing on one kind of overarching theme, I guess. We're going to be looking at landmarks, so various theories, urban legends, myths, dark histories kind of thing surrounding. I think I've got 10 different landmarks / places where something has happened, or not happened for that matter. So yeah, I really hope you do enjoy it. I realise my wife has left her dressing gown in the background, but I'm sat down now and it's right there, but I can't be bothered to move it. Not relevant. Let's get into conspiracy theory number 1. So we're gonna begin with Mount Rushmore. And this article is titled, "Why There's a Mysterious Room Behind Mount Rushmore." Mount Rushmore. Unbeknownst to some, there's more to Mount Rushmore than meets the eye. And there's actually a mysterious room behind the impressive monument. A room that has caused much curiosity over the years, as well as a few conspiracy theories. But fortunately, or perhaps unfortunately, if you enjoy a good conspiracy theory, I'm here to tell you that there's nothing nefarious going on at this popular historical site. In fact, the reason behind this not-so-secret room is actually pretty smart, and dare I say it, a little inspiring. So let's start by talking about some of the logistics of this room, as well as the theories of people who don't know the history behind it. If someone were to take a walk into the canyon that's located right behind the iconic faces of Mount Rushmore, and climb up it to a certain point behind Lincoln's likeness, they'd find a 70 feet long tunnel that runs into the mountain. The tunnel is a rough one and it eventually seems to taper off, but it's known to contain an entrance to a room that is inaccessible to the public. And obviously, the idea of a room hidden inside of a mountain, especially one nobody can access, leads to all sorts of conversations, the most popular of which have become full-blown conspiracy theories. The most popular and long-lasting theory about the room at Mount Rushmore is that it contains secret government documents that the public is never meant to see. The supposed top-secret documents in question are the subject of even more debate. Are they in regards to the existence of aliens, proof that we live on a flat earth, or just some really great family recipes that the government wants for itself? The conspiracy theorists can't agree, and we may never know, but rest easy. The truth of this room can easily be explained by its history, and it has nothing to do with keeping American secrets. Quite the opposite, actually. For those that don't know, the idea for Mount Rushmore was designed by a man named Goodson Borglum, and he had some rather grim thoughts in regard to American history, eventually being lost. Explained in his own words, "Every succeeding civilization forgets its predecessor. Civilizations are ghouls." So in short, he thought that his sculpture would eventually be meaningless if he didn't find a way to explain what it was built for, and also find a way to keep that explanation safe for as long as Mount Rushmore survives. His first idea was to carve a giant inscription beside Washington's likeness. This inscription was supposed to be in the shape of the Louisiana Purchase, and it would have talked about important events that took place in America between the years of 1776 and 1906. But this idea soon fell apart, because it was realised that nobody would be able to read it, so another plan was needed. This is when Borglum came up with the idea for a secret room within Mount Rushmore that would contain all of America's treasured documents. That way, if future generations stumbled across it, they would find articles and documents to explain what the US was all about. He even wanted to store the Declaration of Independence within those walls. And it wasn't supposed to be just any room. The original plan that Borglum drew up called for an 800-foot-long staircase that would lead you up the depths of the mountain, eventually reaching a grand room that would contain all of the said artifacts, as well as inscriptions explaining the creations of Mount Rushmore. Glass doors, bronze and glass cabinets, and a giant plaque above the entryway, and the room was named the Hall of Records. But then, much to Borglum's dismay, soon after he began blasting into the stone of Mount Rushmore, the government cut off funding for the Hall of Records and ordered him to only finish the faces. So his big dreams never really came to pass. But there was the aforementioned 70 feet long tunnel left in the mountain, aka the mysterious room. In 1998, a much smaller version of the Hall of Records was placed in a titanium vault underneath the tunnel. It contains 16 panels that explain the history of Mount Rushmore, the history of the US, and the biography of Borglum. But it's covered with a large and heavy granite slab, and because of the tunnel's location, you'd have to climb quite a way up the mountain in order to even reach it. So for both of those reasons, the public isn't allowed or able to visit it. In short, though the secret room of Mount Rushmore is simply the unrealised dream of the man who was in charge of building it, that now contains enough of our country's history to let future generations know the basics about the country. Okay, next up we're travelling over to the Vatican. And here we have 10 diabolical things supposedly hidden away in the Vatican. The Vatican Secret Archives, founded in 1611 by Pope Paul V, have long been shrouded in mystery, housing some of the Church's oldest and most valuable documents. Access is limited to Vatican officials and qualified academics, with letters of recommendation, further fueling rumours and speculations about the hidden contents within. Now we delve into 10 diabolical theories that have been whispered about what might be concealed in the Vatican Secret Archives. Starting with the world's largest porn collection. One of the most intriguing rumours surrounding the Vatican Secret Archives involves the existence of the world's largest porn collection. Though claims from sources such as Copenhagen's Museum Erotica have surfaced, verifying such allegations remains challenging. Nevertheless, there is historical evidence of erotic art within the Vatican, such as the infamous 16th century frescoes depicting explicit sexual positions in Cardinal Bibbiana's private bathroom. Number 2 is the Essene Gospel of Peace. A fascinating theory revolves around the Essene Gospel of Peace, an alleged ancient Aramaic manuscript found by Edmund Bordeaux Skelly in 1923. Skelly claimed that this document contained teachings about the Essenes, a criticism surrounds the existence of this manuscript, with many suspecting it was a fabrication to support Skelly's vegetarian activism. Number 3 is details of Jesus' bloodline. The notion that the Vatican possesses information regarding the bloodline of Jesus Christ has captivated many minds. The idea of Jesus being married with descendants has been a topic of speculation, and if such information were ever revealed, it could potentially shake the foundations of the Church's hierarchy. Next up, the Grand Grimoire, an actual document, is rumoured to be present in the secret archives. This grimoire supposedly contains dark rituals for summoning entities from the underworld, including the Prime Minister of Hell, Lucifuge Rovocale. The dark allure of this mysterious tome has garnered much interest among occultists and seekers of forbidden knowledge. Number 5 is the third secret of Fatima, a prophetic vision received by 3 shepherd children in Portugal in 1917. This has remained shrouded in secrecy. Despite partial revelations over the years, speculation persists that the Vatican might still withhold the full prophecy, with some believing it predicts an apocalyptic battle between good and evil, deeply involving the Pope. Number 6 is, of course, extraterrestrial artifacts. Surprisingly, the Vatican has shown openness to the idea of extraterrestrial life, engaging in scientific discussions and using the Vatican Observatory for astrobiological research. Rumours claim that the Vatican has long known about alien civilizations and has collected ET artifacts and technical documents for alien weaponry. However, concrete evidence for this remains lacking. Next is the chronovisor. Father Pellegrino Anetti claimed to have invented the chronovisor, a device capable of viewing past events, including moments from biblical history. While this claim lacks solid evidence, the tantalizing idea of witnessing historical events through a time-warping lens has captured imaginations. That'd be cool. The devil in the Vatican. As the Vatican senior exorcist, Father Gabriel Amorth believed the devil resided within the Vatican itself, influencing scandals and corruptions. While such claims might be seen as figurative by some, others maintain that the devil's influence can be traced within certain events in the Church's history. Number 9 is proof that Jesus wasn't crucified. A controversial theory suggests that Jesus was not crucified as described in the Bible, but instead escaped execution through an elaborate deception involving Pontius Pilate. While this theory lacks concrete evidence, it raises intriguing questions about historical interpretations of significant events. And finally, we have proof that Pope Pius XII helped Hitler. The role of Pope Pius XII during the Nazi era has been the subject of intense debate. Some claim that he covertly supported the Nazis, while others argue that he worked to protect Jews from extermination. Limited access to historical documents concerning this period has fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. Damn. I mean, realistically, I'm gonna go on ahead and assume that it's just a load of boring historical stuff in there. But we can dream, I guess. Right, Fuji is 100% proof that aliens are here. A UFO researcher claims to have found evidence of alien spaceships on Earth after a mysterious cloud formation was filmed near Mount Fuji. The unidentified flying object may have been attempting to enter a secret base under the active volcano, a UFO hunter has claimed. First and foremost, let me put on the image here, and let's react to this together. Where is it? What am I looking at? I mean, it's a cool looking cloud. Or, I mean, I can see where you could technically draw the similarity between that and like a flying saucer, but well, let's not dismiss it yet. The flying saucer-shaped anomaly was caught on camera by an eyewitness in February in 2020. At first glance, the video appears to show a lenticular cloud set aglow by the sun, but conspiracy theorist and UFO aficionado Scott Waring believes an alien spaceship is hidden inside this cloud. Mr. Waring said, "This is some still photography made into a video, and it's more than breathtaking. It's 100% evidence that aliens hide ships inside clouds. This particular cloud actually glows from within itself. Dark on the top and dark on the bottom. The light emanates through its sides, glowing a bright yellow. Although it was recorded back in February, this is one remarkable sighting and extraordinary proof that alien ships form clouds around them." Mr. Waring believes extraterrestrial visitors to Earth use volcanoes as bases. In this case, he thinks the alien base sits some 3 to 4 miles below the surface. The UFO hunter said, "Today it's less easy for them to go unseen, since video recorders, live cams and cell phones exist. With this technology so common and in the hands of most of the public, it's just a matter of time before the world governments come out and reveal the truth that aliens exist." However, according to the UK Met Office, lenticular clouds are perfectly natural and form when the air is stable and wind blows over hills and mountains from the same direction but at different heights. The phenomenon can give the clouds a flying saucer-like shape with multiple curved layers. This type of cloud is rarely seen in the UK, but they form downwind of hills or mountains. Well, that would be what they, want you to think. I'm watching this video. I mean, realistically, it's a very cool cloud, but you never know. Alright, next up, we're coming back to the UK with Stonehenge. We're going to be looking at some of the theories about what it is and what it does or did. Stonehenge is an ancient marvel shrouded in mystery and nestled within the serene landscape of England's Wiltshire countryside. This prehistoric monument, estimated to have been built between 3000 and 2000 BC, consists of a circular arrangement of colossal standing stones. Stonehenge has, for centuries, captured the imagination of people. The theories about Stonehenge are plenty, each more fascinating than the last. Some people wonder if Stonehenge was a celestial observatory, aligning with significant events like solstices and eclipses. So, first theory, it was a place of worship. Stonehenge, a celestial mystery, has long been theorized to be a place of worship. Its awe-inspiring colossal Stonehenge stones stand as custodians of the divine, perhaps offering a portal to the spiritual realm. Ancient druids, pagan priests, or sun-worshipping cultures might have gathered at this sacred site, chanting hymns and performing mysterious rituals beneath the open sky. The monument's celestial alignments only heighten the mystery, fueling the assumption of a connection to the cosmos and the divine. Next, an ancient crystal ball. Amidst the myriad theories on Stonehenge, one whimsical theory suggests that it was an ancient crystal ball, a mystical tool to predict the future, conjuring images of seers and shamans. According to this fascinating theory, the monument's celestial alignments enabled early stargazers to interpret celestial patterns and divine their meanings. As they peered into the sky, the stones framed their cosmic stage, where they sought to decipher the secrets of the universe and predict the unfolding of time. We've also got a place of healing. One of the enthralling Stonehenge theories claims Stonehenge was an ancient place of healing, a sanctuary for the ailing to seek respite and rejuvenation. The puzzling stones filled with healing energies may have drawn the sick and weary from far and wide. With faith in the monument's mystical properties, pilgrims gathered, seeking relief from their illnesses amidst the powerful vibrations of Stonehenge. This theory, steeped in the unknown, casts the monument as a beacon of hope and solace in a bygone era. Another one of the fascinating theories about Stonehenge proposes it as a colossal instrument, an ancient acoustic marvel designed to resonate with the Earth's frequencies. The towering stones, meticulously arranged, could have amplified and manipulated sounds, creating harmonies that captivated and enchanted listeners. Imagine the sounds of music filling the landscape as people from bygone eras came together for celebrations. Stonehenge in this audio mystery stands as a testament to the imagination and creativity of our ancestors. This one is just something two bored cavemen put together. A playful theory about Stonehenge's origins suggests that it may simply be the result of two bored cavemen seeking a creative outlet, fueled by their vivid imaginations and a desire for amusement. These early architects embarked on a project of unparalleled scale, crafting the iconic arrangement of standing stones we see today. While this light-hearted theory may seem unbelievable, it invites us to consider the limitless bounds of human creativity and the enduring riddle that is Stonehenge. Among the spellbinding Stonehenge theories attributes Stonehenge's creation to the legendary Merlin the Wizard, whose magical touch is said to have brought the monument to life. This enchanting idea weaves a tale of sorcery and power, where Merlin's secret abilities raised the colossal stones into place, defying the laws of nature. While rooted in myth and folklore, this captivating theory adds a touch of whim to Stonehenge's mysterious origins, igniting the imagination and inspiring the wonder of generations to come. And finally, we've got a celestial Observatory. One of the enthralling theories about Stonehenge suggests this monument as a celestial observatory, a sophisticated tool for tracking the movements of heavenly bodies. Imagine ancient astronomers gazing skyward, trying to make out cosmic patterns framed by the monument's huge stones. Aligned with the solstices and other celestial events, Stonehenge may have played a crucial role, marking seasonal changes and guiding rituals. In this cosmic puzzle, the monument emerges as inventive evidence of our ancestors' fascination with the celestial realm. I mean, some beautiful theories there, but low-key, I kinda hope it was just the caveman one. Like if it was just two geezers from years and years ago who just went, oh yeah, let's just stack these on top. And now to this day, people still go and visit and theorise they're this potentially all-powerful thing, but actually just rock stacked by two blokes. I like that idea. Heading over to France now. We've got 666 panes of glass and the actual controversy of the Louvre pyramid. By the 1980s, it was apparent that the Louvre, the world's most famous museum, had to make a change. The number of daily visitors completely overwhelmed the inadequate entrance area, but art fans kept coming in larger numbers. A decision was made to excavate the central courtyard and create an underground lobby to accommodate all the people. But what about the entrance? Famed architect I.M. Pei, who is still around and working today at age 98 at the time of this article, was commissioned to design a unique entrance to the old palace, a steel and glass pyramid. As part of the package, 7 pyramids were to be built, including an inverted one, but the big one in the centre of the courtyard would serve as the main entrance to the museum. Parisians who have been known to throw a fit over anything that disrupts the undeniable architectural harmony of their city were generally not happy with the futuristic design. An editorial described French President François Mitterrand, who ultimately gave approval to the design, as having a pharaoh complex. I don't think he intended to be buried under the pyramid though. Work proceeded regardless of the controversy, and in 1989 the new pyramid entrance and underground lobby of the Louvre was opened to the public, forever making the museum more accessible and open. I've talked to Parisians who still hate it, but most have come to accept it as a unique, if not necessarily beautiful part of the urban landscape. So, controversy or just fiction? French conspiracy theorist Dominique Stezefant's book, François Mitterrand, Grand Architecte, or Architecte de l'Univers, propagated the idea that the pyramid was specifically built with 666 panes of glass and was dedicated to a power described as the beast in the Book of Revelation. Essentially, it was built in honor of the devil. However, simple counting reveals that there are 673 panes of glass in the pyramid. Talk about not doing your research. Dan Brown's immensely popular novel The Da Vinci Code asserts that the sarcophagus of Mary Magdalene lies under the inverted pyramid in the Louvre's underground shopping mall. That, even the author will tell you, of course just fiction, but it made for an interesting end mysteries of Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu, Machu Picchu. In 1911, Hiram Bingham rediscovered Machu Picchu, and its mysteries continue to intrigue. Its purpose, construction methods, exact location, and inhabitants remain unknown. Theories range from religious and astronomical significance to extraterrestrial influence. Despite modern technologies uncovering some secrets, Machu Picchu remains shrouded in enigma and fascination, captivating generations. Hiram Bingham's 1911 rediscovery of Machu Picchu, nestled high in the Peruvian Andes, has captivated historians, archaeologists and tourists alike. Mist frequently covers this long-gone Incan citadel, serving as an engineering marvel and testament to the creativity of its builders. Even after much study, there are still a lot of unanswered questions about Machu Picchu, from its actual function and building methods to its people's day-to-day activities. Machu Picchu's goal remains one of its most enduring mysteries. Academics have proposed several explanations, yet they have not reached a consensus. Some people think that Pachacuti, the Inca ruler who ordered its construction in the middle of the 15th century, used it as a royal estate. Some argue that because it included so many temples and ritualistic buildings, it was a religious location. Some sites that imply ceremonial purposes include the Room of the Three Windows, the Temple of the Sun, and the Sacred Plaza. According to certain beliefs, Machu Picchu may have served as an astronomical observatory because of its alignment with specific celestial phenomena. A more extreme argument, citing comparisons with other ancient ruins that demonstrate sophisticated engineering methods seemingly developed before their time, suggests that extraterrestrials may have assisted in the construction of Machu Picchu. The methods used to build Machu Picchu are still a mystery. The Incas were expert stonemasons, and it is amazing how precisely they could cut and fit stones together without the need for mortar. Not even a blade of grass could fit between these stones due to their immaculate design. Researchers are perplexed about the instruments and techniques used in this technique, known as ashlar masonry, especially in light of the historical technological constraints. The movement of enormous stones across rugged and steep terrain from quarries located miles away further complicates this riddle. Some theories suggest that an advanced civilization, potentially extraterrestrial in origin, may have provided the Incas with superior knowledge or even assistance, making such precise construction impossible with the available technology at the time. There are doubts about Machu Picchu's actual location. Situated approximately 2,430 meters above sea level, this location is exceedingly isolated and unreachable. The reason for choosing such a challenging location remains unclear. Some argue that the location's spiritual value led to its selection, while others argue that its strategic position was crucial for defense. People may have perceived the surrounding terrain, with its majestic peaks and hallowed valleys as a bridge connecting the heavenly and earthly realms. The remarkable location, with its expansive views and alignment with astronomical phenomena, has also inspired claims that alien spaceships selected it for its distinct energy fields, or even as a landing area. The lifestyles of humans who lived at Machu Picchu are also a mystery. The citadel was home to roughly 750 people at its height, according to estimates. However, nothing is known about their day-to-day lives. Archaeological discoveries have provided some insights into the residents' diet, which included maize, potatoes, and a variety of fruits and vegetables. The community's particular responsibilities and social structure, however, remain mostly hypothetical. Luxuries and practical artifacts suggest a sophisticated culture, yet the absence of written records hinders our understanding. An additional layer of mystery surrounds these people's existence. The possibility that they interacted with or learned from an advanced civilization, whether terrestrial or extraterrestrial. Specialists who have worked hard to unravel the mysteries of Machu Picchu include anthropologist and adventurer John Reinhard. Reinhard asserts that the Incas' holy geography ideas inextricably link the location and design of Machu Picchu. He contends that Machu Picchu's orientation toward important astronomical events and its placement in relation to other important Incan sites demonstrate a comprehensive mastery of both geography and astronomy. In a similar vein, archaeologist Richard Berger highlights the significance of Machu Picchu in relation to Inca civilization, pointing out that the building of the site demonstrates the empire's inventiveness in architecture and ability to manage sizable work groups. Both experts agree that there are still a lot of unanswered questions regarding the location, which calls for more research and discussion. The reason for the abandonment of Machu Picchu remains a mystery. The Spanish conquistadors arrived in Peru after several decades of abandonment of the location. Some theories attribute the abandonment to a smallpox outbreak that European invaders caused, while others point to political and social unrest within the Inca Empire. The precise causes of Machu Picchu's abandonment remain a mystery, due to the lack of conclusive evidence. Some have even conjectured that the location's inhabitants left because it served their purpose, and that cosmic or alien phenomena abandoned the site. Some of Machu Picchu's mysteries are starting to come to light thanks to modern technologies. Techniques like light detection and ranging have revealed previously hidden terraces and structures, providing new insights into the site's scope and complexity. However, a lot of concerns remain unresolved, and Machu Picchu still inspires awe and interest in spite of these advancements. The persistence in popular culture and among certain researchers of theories concerning aliens and sophisticated civilizations, not generally acknowledged in conventional archaeology, only increases the site's mysterious appeal. Now we're heading over to Easter Island. Rapa Nui's giant and ancient Maui statues have stumped academics and archaeologists for centuries, sparking myriad Easter Island theories. Aliens, rats, and human greed have all been credited with the dramatic collapse in Easter Island's population and abandoned statues that scatter the land. This triangle island, 14 miles long by 7 miles, has more than 1,000 Maui statues, enormous heads sculpted from the island's volcanic stone. Some are 10 meters tall and weigh up to 80 tons. Following the oral traditions of the indigenous language, the Mauis walked to where they settled. Recently, buried torsos have come to life, propagating the myths about how local artisans could build, move, and place such mammoth megalithic sculptures. There are no blueprints left behind that modern science has managed to decipher. The truth is that while we are getting closer to understanding the island that inhabitants call Rapa Nui, the mysteries of the Mauis and why the people disappeared remain. So the remote island lies some 1,000 miles east of Polynesia and 1,400 miles west of South America. People first arrived from Polynesia between 600 and 800 AD. Europeans became aware of the islands on Easter Sunday 1722, when Dutch Admiral Jacob Roggeveen spotted it. The date gave the island the name many people still use. Roggeveen described finding people of mixed physical types, including white men with slit earlobes worshipping the Mauis with fire. The Spanish passed in 1770 and estimated the population to be 3,000 people, following what appeared to have been a civil war. Just 4 years later, British navigator Captain James Cook landed and found 600 to 700 poverty-stricken locals, and the statues abandoned. Captain Cook wrote, "We could hardly conceive how these islanders, wholly unacquainted with any mechanical power, could raise such stupendous figures." This probably says more about the European attitude towards the lands they colonized than anything based on reality. Over the following years, sailors and whalers continued to visit Rapa Nui. By 1860, the population was around 3,000, until Peru plundered the island for enslaved people, and a smallpox epidemic reduced numbers to 111 by 1877. Chile annexed Easter Island on September 9th, 1888. Around 5,000 people now call Rapa Nui home. So, looking at the theories, we've got population collapse theory. The most common Easter Island theory is that Rapa Nui's population collapsed through overpopulation. An allegorical argument for today's world, the theory runs that life was good on Rapa Nui. The population increased, pushing up the demand for natural resources like firewood. Cleared forests became farmland. Edible birds that lived in the trees died out. There was no wood for boat building and fishing expired. This collapse theory postulates that the locals began fighting each other for natural resources and even resorted to cannibalism. The idea caught the imaginations of many, perhaps satisfying an outdated view of indigenous populations as savages. Now we've got the incomers theory. The collapse theory depends on the idea that Easter Island once had a vast population to move the Maui statues. But what if 10 to 30,000 people never lived on Rapa Nui? A modern way of thinking postulates that the island had a reasonably stable 3,000 strong population that subsisted on what the island produced. The stories of people turning into cannibals were likely a part of Christian missionaries telling stories to peddle their moralities as superior. The blame game helped missionaries in two ways. Europeans brought their devastating diseases, penchant for slavery, and fighting. The collapse theory could be more of a provoked collapse from incomers. Next, did aliens visit Easter Island? One area for agreement is that the Maui statues aren't the work of aliens. The statues' impressive sizes may make it tempting to believe otherworldly powers created them instead of a remote island community. Disappointingly for alien fans, the extraterrestrials didn't bring any new materials to display their technological capabilities. Instead, the Mauis came from a quarry from an extinct volcano called Raraku on the northeastern side of the island. Hundreds of unfinished Maui remain there. Logs and ropes were the most likely system of transport across the island. Some believe humans didn't have the intelligence or tools to create many ancient natural wonders, including the Giza pyramids, Stonehenge, and the Mauis of Easter Island. One theory is just rats, apparently. Both Polynesian rats and those brought on ships by Europeans lived on Easter Island alongside humans. They took their share of resources, from palm tree nuts to other seeds. It's unlikely that the rat population precipitated any human population collapse. Human interference is more probable. According to another theory, working-class quarry workers attempted to overthrow the ruling classes some 600 years ago. The revolt left many finished Mauis abandoned in the quarry. However, some research by the Journal of Archaeological Science states the statues were left in the quarry for religious purposes between 400 to 600 years ago. The workers' revolution is another one to drop in the unlikely box. And finally, we have long ears versus short ears. Skeletal studies have shown that Easter Island was home to both long-eared and short-eared people, something also observed by Captain James Cook. The idea is there was a war between the long-eared and short-eared tribes in the 17th century, before the arrival of Europeans. The story goes that long-eared people, the first to inhabit Easter Island, dug a ditch and filled it with wood, intending to trap and burn the short-eared people within. A long-eared man tells his short-eared wife of the plan. Horrified, she tells her people. In a dramatic twist, the short-eared folks chase their long-eared rivals, including women and children, into the ditch and burn them alive. 2 long-eared people escaped, one captured and killed, and the other surviving. Scientific evidence relates to a different anthropological tale. Still, it makes for a vibrant fable for kids. Forget the fable, I want to see a TV show about this. I feel like a semi-historically accurate TV show about life on Easter Island that dives into some of these theories presented as like the stories of the seasons would be really cool. Really cool. And yeah, I think really the majority of theories about, the origins of, these heads is, or these statues is, well, people back then couldn't possibly do that when actually they probably could. It's the same with the pyramids. Like hundreds and thousands of workers, you're gonna be able to get it done. And we're gonna finish now back in England at the Tower of London. And we've got Charles II and the discovery of the princes in the Tower in 1674. On 17th of July 1674, 2 skeletons were discovered inside the Tower of London. Many believe they were the princes in the Tower, 12-year-old Edward V and 9-year-old Richard, Duke of York. The boys disappeared in 1483 during the Wars of the Roses, creating one of the biggest mysteries in British history. Then nearly 200 years after they vanished, Charles II reinterred the 2 skeletons from the Tower in their names at Westminster Abbey. So we'll explore the story. The discovery, Charles II's reign, witnessed some of the most famous chapters in the Tower of London's long history. His was the last coronation to begin with a grand procession from the Tower to Westminster. The crown jewels went on display to the public for the first time during his reign, and in 1671, the dastardly Colonel Blood tried to steal them. Yet perhaps most famous of all was the discovery of 2 skeletons, who were assumed to be the missing princes in the Tower. The skeletons were found by labourers when parts of the Tudor and medieval palace to the south of the White Tower were demolished. The Great Fire of 1666 had reminded the authorities that safe storage of gunpowder was of utmost priority, and the topsy-turvy nature of the tower was being reorganised to better house this most flammable of materials. While a historical plaque in the White Tower today asserts that the bones were discovered under a staircase inside the White Tower itself, the exact location of the discovery is still debated. Most experts suggest they were discovered outside the White Tower. According to John Knight, Chief Surgeon to Charles II, the bones were found when digging down the stairs which led from the King's lodgings to the chapel in the said tower, about 10 foot in the ground. In likelihood this was to the south of the White Tower, used to access the chapel of St. John. In 1866, Lieutenant Governor of the Tower Lord de Ross reported that Charles II had ordered Sir Thomas Chicheley, the Master General of Ordnance who oversaw the building works in 1674, to plant a mulberry tree on the spot where the princes were discovered. The tree, de Ross noted sadly, was caused to rapid decay after a new staircase was added nearby in 1674. The discovery of the bones near a staircase seemed to comply with Sir Thomas More's The History of Richard III, which famously accused Richard III of murdering the princes. They were his nephews. Moore recorded that the boys were buried inside the tower at the stair foot, meatly deep in the ground under a great heap of stones. Of course, Moore has no eyewitnesses and arguably part of the Tudor propaganda machine. He was perhaps at best recounting a tradition present at court and in the tower. So the princes identified. John Knight recalled the bones were quickly identified as the princes in the tower. He noted the bones of 2 striplings in a wooden chest, which upon the survey were found proportionable to the ages of those 2 brothers, viz. About 13 and 11 years. Knight reported that the bones were much disturbed, the younger skulls broken, probably by the workers' tools, and the bones were found as it seemed in a wooden chest. At first, the bones were simply tossed aside, Knight continued. However, they soon became identified as the missing princes. Workers then sifted the rubbish heap to retrieve the bones. Sir Thomas Chicheley informed Charles II of the discovery, Knight recalled that upon the presumptions that these were the bones of the said princes, His Majesty King Charles II was graciously pleased to command that the bone should be put into a marble urn and deposited among the relics of the royal family in the chapel of King Henry VII in Westminster Abbey. Preparations for the interment were put into action and no expense was spared. On 18th of Feb 1675, Sir Christopher Wren was issued with a warrant ordering him to provide the urn. Wren is considered by many to be Britain's greatest architect, perhaps best known for designing St Paul's Cathedral and remodelling Hampton Court Palace. The urn was installed in the Henry VII Chapel in 1678. Precious discoveries. This was not the first time bones speculated to be the princes had been discovered at the tower. Reports suggest that the bones of a child had been found in a high desolate turret at the tower in 1623. Then in the early 1600s, two skeletons were reportedly discovered in a bricked-up room near the king's lodgings at the tower. Yet, neither of these discoveries seems to have been taken seriously by the Crown. It seems unlikely they would not have been informed, and so we can speculate that they decided the discoveries were not worth their attention. So why was Charles II's reaction so different? Charles II's exact motives for supporting the association of the bodies with the princes in the tower may never be known. Perhaps he hoped that his public commitment to his ancestors would be an appropriate demonstration of his fitness to rule. It seemed likely that there was also something about the story of the princes and the idea of righting past wrongs to the monarchy that resonated with him. The deposition and murder of Edward V must have felt very tangible and personal to a king whose own father was deposed and executed just 25 years before. For Charles II, the newly interred princes in Westminster Abbey provided a potent example of past wrongs corrected. Like the newly forged crown jewels at the Tower of London, they were powerful symbols of the restored monarchy. Just as Charles had returned to the Tower of London to process to his coronation in 1660 and restored a centuries-old tradition, in 1678 he publicly interred two of his ancestors in the traditional burial place of ancient kings. All of these provided powerful symbols of the past and future of the monarchy. But the mystery endures. The identity of the children discovered at the Tower of London in 1674 may never be known. Similarly, the fate of the princes in the tower may forever lie beyond our understanding. However, this should not deter us from asking questions and embarking on new research. What seems likely is that the debate surrounding these mysteries will endure for centuries to come. While we strive to be scientific and definitive, those goals are impossible to achieve. Even as new evidence emerges, old records are reassessed, and research techniques are developed, it seems unlikely consensus will ever be reached. As always, the work of the historian is never truly done. To be fair, that was less of a conspiracy theory, wasn't it? More of a little bit of history, but certainly a strange bit of history. I think that was 8 in the end, and many of you might be asleep at this point in the video, but let me tell you, there are so many more conspiracy theories about places, landmarks, locations, etc. that I could do, so if you would like to see a part 2, I can most certainly do a part 2. Like, as I was reading, I realised I didn't even go into the pyramids of Giza. I feel like we maybe have done them to death a little bit with these videos, but if you want to see them included, I can include them again. But there's also places like Denver Airport and things like that, but there's so many places we could